Hey guys, welcome back to Spaceflight Simulator. Yes, it has been a while since I have recorded this, but now I'm back and I have a surprise for you. All right? I've made a Martian lander for hard mode. The download link for it will be in the description, but it does land on Mars and it returns. All right, so let's just create a new world. Let's do challenge and hard mode so you know I'm not cheating. And let us go to, let's call it uh, double gubs. I don't know what that means, but hey. Now let's create. Now let us play on double gubs. All right. So now let's build new rocket and let us upload my blueprint. Martian lander hard. Load up. And now we have my Mars lander module. Sweet. So now we're going to go to launch. And the individual parts inside the fairings, they are manual control, so you're probably going to have to stage that mid-flight because sometimes I do just improvise. All right, so let us turn our engines on and we are ready to lift off. All right, first stage is separate. All right, so now we are on our way. All right, we passed the Kármán line. We can separate our fairings. And there you see our module. So now we are just trying to achieve low Earth orbit as of now. All right, now let me just time warp so that maybe I can reach it faster. Shit. navigate to. And now we are just going to transfer off to Mars. Sweet! Alright, let's just try over here. Now we are trying to get to Mars. Alright, now which... Yeah, it's that one. Alright, cool. Now we're just gonna flip her around. And now we stage. Alright, so now we are headed to Mars. So that's cool. Alright, looks like we are on a trajectory towards its sphere of influence. So now we are just going to barely not crash into Mars and basically scrape the surface of its atmosphere. Not too close, not too far away, just right somewhere around here-ish. Come on, a little more. That one. Now time warp. Now boom, we are about to, yep, that's Mars. And now we are going to turn off our engine so that we can reach orbit. Time warp. And let us deploy our aesthetic choice. You don't have to put the solar panels, but I usually put them for aesthetics. Make it look authentic and stuff. Oh. Boom, we are about to enter orbit. Now let's just accelerate time a little bit. And we should be good to go in a few seconds. All right. Come on, reach low Earth orbit, or low Mars orbit, rather. And now we separate this little thing. What does it do? Well, it lands. Now let's switch to here and try and maybe get it into a better trajectory. And then we will rename this one Lander. And this one Mars Command. Now switch to, now rename this one to Mars Command. Rename. All right. So now that that's all squared away, let's try and get closer to the atmosphere of Mars. All right. Yeah. Now time warp. As you can see, we are far away from Mars Command now. And let's try and land in Utopia Planitia. I mean, it's usually my preferred go-to landing zone because it's so flat there, but you could land anywhere on the surface with this thing. So now let's just time warp a little closer to it. And let's burn retrograde. Basically, what this does is it allows us to enter the Martian atmosphere without using any fuel that we need to get back up again. So, yes, that is a really nice part of the design. Unfortunately, it doesn't last all the way, and you are going to eventually have to use your uh, small Hawk boosters or, engines or what have you. I don't know why I call them boosters, but hey, nobody's perfect. Now let's just time warp close to the atmosphere, but not too close. And let's just burn some more as we approach entry. All right, now let's stage this. Just put those there for good measure. And because I don't want to have to do all that extra BS. Yeah, I got something good going on for me. Now we separate this. Boom. And then turn those engines on and then continue burning. All right, we are going to want to be going slower than 250 meters a second because A, we can't deploy our parachutes when we're going any faster, and B, I don't particularly want to burn up in the atmosphere before I actually land. So that's something you should be careful about. Basically, this just barely has enough fuel to land and return back to Mars orbit. After that, it's virtually useless. All right, so what we are going to need to do is we are just going to need to gradually descend. And yes, I did use the Redstone Atlas capsule. Of course, if if you don't have any add-ons or extensions or expansions or anything, this design might not work, but it's still fun to experiment. Maybe you can find another way to make something similar to this, just modify the design a little bit. Oh, sweet. So we are approaching the proper height to deploy our parachutes, so we can just chill. We can fall. Sweet. So our parachutes are half deployed and we are descending. Sweet. All right, we are approaching the surface a little too fast, but that's okay. We can just do a little bit of a suicide burn just to get that final deceleration that we need. Final little bit of deceleration, and we will almost successfully land on the surface of Mars. Looky here, we've landed on Mars. Now you're probably wondering, how do we get off of Mars? Well, here's the fun part. This whole thing has enough fuel to get us back into Martian orbit. But it's barely enough to do that. So, let's try it. Alright, now let's try and pass the Kármán line, or not the Kármán line, but pass where the atmosphere of Mars ends and space begins, and then we can start burning a little bit prograde to get into orbit. Alright, yeah. Sweet. So now I should be able to pass the Mars atmosphere. And let's try and get this baby into orbit before we run out of fuel, preferably. Now, come on. I know you can do it. Sweet. So now that that's out of the way, we can switch to Mars Command. All right, this little baby is in orbit already. So now let's navigate to the lander, and this looks like an extremely risky move. I'm not going to go for it and instead wait for the next transfer window. Not that one, though. Alright, so, yeah, now let's just... Alright, we're getting close, And almost there. Oh, shoot. I overshot it. Come on, let's just get this over with. Time warp to the transfer window. Sweet. Now let's just do this. Get as close as we humanly can to 0 meters a second. All right. We are approaching approaching. Now, let's go. Come on, come on. All right, we're at our rendezvous. Now let's turn on our RCS and slow the heck down. All right, sweet. Now we got to do all these micro adjustments, and hopefully we'll be ready to go. All right, we are close to our target. All right, we are at a distance of 500 meters away from the target. Now we need to slow the heck down with our approach. And then once we dock, we are going to transfer any remaining fuel right back into the Mars command. Woo! Now let me turn off my RCS, separate that little thing right there, and now it's time to head back home to Earth. Now let's navigate to, let's time warp to our transfer window. Now, let's time warp. Time to turn on our engine. Now, whenever we re-enter the sphere of influence of Earth, I haven't actually figured out a flawless design, so we won't actually be able to get to low Earth orbit in order to return to the Earth's surface, but instead we are going to sort of orbit the Earth in a low to high ellipse, and that's the way we are going to essentially use the atmosphere as a air brake due to us not having really enough fuel to do all the extra stuff. All right, so now we are going, like I said, we are essentially going to use the Earth's atmosphere as a sort of air brake. So we don't actually want this to. Yeah, maybe it's better if I just show you. All right, sweet, sweet, and boom. All right, Mars command. Now, like I said, we are going to want to re-enter the Earth's atmosphere at a certain type of ellipse. It is not classified as an orbit, but we don't actually have enough fuel to, get it into perfect low Earth orbit. So instead, we got this little ellipse, and then we are going to utilize the atmosphere of the Earth as an air brake. Trust me, I've tested this already, and it actually worked. And I seriously can't believe it. All right, so now let's just do that. Get it close to 20, 24 or 25 kilometers up, because that's where you're going to experience a lot of air resistance, things like that. Now let's just crash that little bit into there. Oh snap, where'd my capsule go? Now switch to this one. And now we are just going to want to enter Earth atmosphere. And we have successfully landed on Mars and returned to Earth safely, almost, in about 30 minutes. Well, of course, if you take into account the time warping and all that other extra stuff. But yes, we have landed on the surface of Mars, and we have returned safely, almost. Now, all we need to do is let this air brake slow us down to the point where we can do everything. But other than that, this is going extremely well. The only reason I utilized the Redstone Atlas capsule over the others is simply because of, the built-in parachute. It just does better for the aesthetics rather than putting a docking port on top of a parachute in the default mode. Of course, you know, you can just, modify it, whatever. If you don't have this specific Redstone Atlas add-on, you can just do that. But yes, we have successfully returned to Earth safely. Now all I need to do is deploy my parachute, and we will be good to go. Let's accelerate time a little bit. And boom! We're landing, boys. And we have landed. We have done it. We have successfully done all of these in one flight. All right, thank you so much for watching. I will see you. I'll get back to you. All right, because I was actually pretty hyped about this design. Yeah. So there you go. That is a successful hard mode, uh, challenge mode, Mars lander and return module. So I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching. Hit the like button. Maybe, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.